What if the most extraordinary belief held by Christians turns out to be false? Imagine for a moment, if you will, that the most pivotal event in the Christian faith, the resurrection of Jesus Christ, was disproven. The implications would be staggering. Christianity, as we know it, would crumble. The resurrection is not just a minor footnote in Christianity, it's the heartbeat, the core. It's the miraculous event that gives hope to millions who trust in Christ. It's the cornerstone that holds the entire faith together. If a brutally crucified man didn't walk from his tomb, if Jesus never rose from the dead, then, as the Apostle Paul admitted, Christianity would be finished. Christians of all people would be most to be pitied. If Jesus stayed dead, everything uniquely important about Christianity is false. It's a bold statement, isn't it? It's all or nothing. But is it true? Let's delve into it. We only need to show that a person was truly dead at one point in time and then was truly alive at a later point in time. This is where history helps out. So let's take a deep dive into the three key pieces of evidence that support this claim. First, there's no dispute that Jesus was dead and buried. According to historical accounts, after enduring brutal physical torment, Jesus was crucified, a method of execution that ensured death. His lifeless body was then placed in a tomb. This isn't some fanciful tale. This is a fact grounded in the gritty reality of Roman crucifixion practices. Next, we have the empty tomb. When women came to anoint Jesus' body with spices, they found the tomb empty. This was a shock, a surprise, a mystery that needed solving. Remember, these are not supernatural claims. An empty tomb is a tangible, physical reality that requires an explanation. Lastly, there's the transformation of the disciples. These were ordinary men who, after Jesus' death, were terrified and in hiding, yet something happened that turned these doubters into bold proclaimers of Jesus' resurrection. They were willing to face persecution and even death for their belief. Again, this is not a supernatural claim. People changing their minds, their beliefs, their lives is a common occurrence in human history. Note the earthly nature of these evidences. We're not talking about ethereal visions or spiritual experiences. We're talking about a body that was dead and then wasn't, a tomb that was full and then wasn't, and men who were doubters and then weren't. These are historical, tangible, earthly evidences. So what's the significance of these three facts? They are the minimum required to establish a resurrection. They show that Jesus was truly dead, then truly alive. They are simple, straightforward, and rooted in reality. These three facts, nothing fancy or complicated, form the evidence of the resurrection. What single explanation makes sense of all of the historical details that virtually every academic in the field agrees on? This question brings us to the heart of our discussion, the interpretation of the evidence. In the vast historical landscape, there stands a singular event that unifies the narrative, an event that fits all the evidence seamlessly. This event, this occurrence, is the resurrection. It is the belief that Jesus was raised up again. The resurrection is not a fanciful tale or a myth. It is a historical event grounded in firm evidence. The death of Jesus, the empty tomb, the transformation of the disciples and skeptics, all these point to one reality, that Jesus, once dead, was truly alive again. This explanation, this assertion that Jesus was raised up again, isn't simply a theory. It's the only interpretation that aligns with all the historical evidence. It's the only one that makes sense of the disciples' transformation, the only one that accounts for the empty tomb. It fits. It's rational, it's historical. So what does this mean for those who disagree? Well, they're faced with a challenge. They must answer this question. What is a better explanation of the facts? They must provide an alternative that fits all the evidence as snugly as the resurrection does. Those who disagree must solve this problem. What is a better explanation of the facts? In the final analysis, the one thing that could destroy Christianity turns out to be the one thing that verifies everything important. We've walked through the earthly evidence, from the undeniable death and burial of Jesus, to the empty tomb and to the unshakable transformation of the disciples. Each piece of this historical puzzle fits together, leading us to one inescapable conclusion. The best explanation for these facts is the resurrection, the truth that gives meaning and hope to our faith. Put simply, He is risen. He is